Welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris and I'm here to bring you guys the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh and I'll be bringing the low rev perspective.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Ebonite Spartan, and I'm going to be comparing that to the Storm Equinox Solid and the Brunswick Alert.
And I'll be comparing it to the Hammer Zero Mercy Solid and the Ebonite 1 Ovation. Today we are here at Bolero Mesa on a fresh house shot. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe and we'll see you out on the lanes.
After seeing the Ebonite Spartan go down the lane, this one I thought was going to be pretty strong, but going down the lane here at Bolero Mesa, it felt like a somewhat cleaner, weaker, slow, asymmetric piece. To me, it was pretty down lane, but it wasn't super quick to friction, which I kind of like to see. Definitely had that weaker asymmetric shape. Still pretty slow off the spot and pretty forward going through the pins. I didn't see a ton of continuation. A lot of times the ball just went directly right towards the 9 pin or right in between the 8 and the 9 pin. So pretty forward ball motion going through the pins, but pretty versatile. I liked it. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Storm Equinox Solid and see how that compares. All right, to me, the Equinox Solid is a bit of a stronger shape. I feel like this one is normally pretty weak in comparison to like other balls kind of in this category, but it is slightly stronger and a little earlier than the Ebonite Spartan. To me, it was a little slower off the end of the pattern, so I had to be a little bit closer to the friction, keep my angles a little bit more in front of me. Wasn't quite as much down lane motion with the Equinox Solid as the Spartan. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Brunswick Alert and see how that compares. With the Alert being a slightly weaker, symmetric, solid shape, this one is definitely a little bit of a step down from the Spartan. Personally, I feel like it has kind of similar shapes off the end of the pattern. I do think the Spartan has a little bit more strength off the end of the pattern though. You can see a little bit more of that change of direction. I feel like the Alert, I typically like to keep my angles a little bit more in front of me. I don't typically move pretty far left with this one. I like to keep them a little bit more in front of me. I feel like I have better pin carry that way. So personally, I feel like I'd kind of play similar spots with the Spartan and the Alert, but the Alert would just be something that I would go to a little bit after. If I wanted a similar shape, but just a little bit more down lane shape. All right, final thoughts on the Ebonite Spartan. To me, with this one being the slightly weaker asymmetric solid shape, I feel like it's a little bit more versatile, especially for someone with a higher rev rate. Some of the stronger asymmetric pieces are just a little bit too much ball, and this one being slightly weaker and a little bit more down lane, I feel like it could be a little bit more versatile on a decent amount of patterns and be more versatile to surface adjustments. If you need it to be just a slightly earlier, hitting it with a little bit of surface and still having that little bit cleaner downlane shapes would be pretty versatile and still look pretty good. So to me, I think this one's going to be in the fire category. Here it looked really good and it had a really good shape going through the pins. So I'm a fan of this one. It's like going to go in the fire category for me.
Just wrapped up throwing 10 shots with the new Ebonite Spartan, and this ball for me was really a lot of ball out of the box. Really hooked pretty early. I didn't feel like it was the biggest ball out there currently on the market, but I did feel like it was one of the better smooth controllable ones. I did feel like I was really able to play a couple different parts of the lane. I did start a little straighter, but even when I kind of tucked my feet a little bit further inside, a little left, it still got off the friction spot beautifully. I did feel like this lane for some reason just felt a little nicer altogether today, but this ball just gave me the reaction. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Zero Mercy Solid and see how it compares. Just wrapped up throwing shots with that big Zero Mercy Solid. As you can see, this one hooked right out of box. There was an early friction spot on the lane, but this one, again, like immediately hooked toward it. So I did have to move a little bit further left, but I kind of over-guessed. So not the best shots in there altogether, but you could see still how much more forward the ball was compared to the Spartan. Definitely a ball up, something I'd throw before throwing the Spartan. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the 1 Ovation and see how it compares. just finished throwing shots with the one Ovation. This ball for me was another one of those bigger asym pearls. Definitely a ball down from the Spartan would be something that I want to throw, again, once there's a little bit more friction developed on the lane. Definitely a ball down, but for me, I still feel like they were overall shaped in a similar way, even though they were two different balls in the bag. I wouldn't have a really big issue with understanding the shape off the pattern, so definitely similar in that aspect. Final thoughts on the Ebonite Spartan. This one for me is definitely one of those balls that's going to find its way into my bag. I really like the way it's shaped going down the lane, and I felt like it's one of those bigger balls where I could stay in them for a little longer. A lot of times for me with the super big balls like this RMRC Solid, for example, I feel like I only can stay in it for a game, so this one I feel like it's going to be one of those ones where I could kind of take my time getting out of it. For all the misroom I had today and really left and right and ball speed, like this ball really shined through. So for today, it's going to have to be a nut ball. I only missed twice with it. I did feel like those two errors were also on me, not the ball. So it, again, like this ball, every time I did a mediocre shot to a good shot, it struck. So I just, again, felt super comfortable with this one. So nuts for today.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.